Well, why don't we start things out by hearing a little bit about who you are? There's no guarantees that everyone who listens to this knows how famous and important you are in the world. So let's introduce them to that.
Well, I am Daniel P. Riley, owner and operator of whimsyland.org, which is literary coaching and services. I coach authors, help people brainstorm book blurbs, anything that they really need in order to get from that first word to the end and everything that happens afterwards pre-publishing. I'm working on trying to get to a point where I can maybe start publishing some books for folks, but at this point I'm just a back-end support guy, and I do editing, which is sort of my current focus.
So when I'm curious, what is the big thing that kind of prevents someone from just going straight into publishing for other people? Is it a finance thing, like having the ability to front money for certain things, or are there other kinds of hurdles that I'd be unaware of?
There are a bunch of hurdles. Finances is one of the big ones. The other one is printing costs. And you kind of need to have either access or the equipment yourself in house. I'm looking at combining with a couple of local printers here to use their equipment to branch into that as I don't even know how to describe it. Maybe like a business timeshare where on their off hours I have access to the shop so that I can print and do what I need to do, and then I vacate so that they can do what they need to do until I can find a place to start my own shop. But yeah, cost is really the big factor to doing any sort of small print publishing. You really need to be business savvy about where you're getting your materials from, the equipment that you'll need, and to use that equipment effectively.
Interesting. Now, we're talking about what you've created. I guess the real question is, so what brings you to that world? How do you find yourself being an editor or being, a coach to the up and coming? And is there like a special angle that you take? Because there are a lot of services out there now that will help people coach to make their books a thing and make them a reality. For those who watch the show, if you go to the show notes, there's actually a pitch for, for a friend of mine, his service, boostwithabook.com. And he definitely focuses more on, we'll just say, like the business person that wants to put out a book to kind of elevate themselves within their space. Something tells me that's not the arena that you're tackling, though.
It's not, but that is where I cut my teeth on it. I started out helping business guys, money Twitter types, working on their short e-courses and things like that, just polishing it up, making sure that it sounded both professional and engaging. And then doing that for a couple of months actually was where I got the idea for doing the Whimsyland thing. After I wrote my first trilogy as an author, I did it all myself. I started reading other books and trying to absorb as much information as I could to make a novel series that was interesting and not something that somebody would go, okay, this is just fanfic. Like, try again, bro. And then afterwards, I thought to myself, after doing that with those guys on their e-courses, I said, okay, well, I've basically stumbled my way through 3 novels now. And I've worked with people, and I know all of these people that are in the same sort of path that I'm on, I guess would be the better example, that are asking the same questions I already asked. So I'm going to answer those questions. And then I got to doing it, and I was like, this is really enjoyable, helping people and getting their stuff to a point where they're so excited and so happy about the product that they have to put out, and their growing number of fans are happy about it too. And that was where whimsyland.org came from. Turn your whimsy into reality. You have a story in here that you want to tell the world, and I can help you do that.
It's like getting together with a producer. Like, you've got as a musician, you've got a good idea, and maybe can't quite figure out the execution, or what are the angles to really take. How do I make this really pop? Sometimes it's just getting another set of eyes on something to see like things that you don't see. Would the Weezer Blue album, since I've watched a video on it the other day, would that have been the same without Rick Ocasek producing it? For those who don't know, Rick Ocasek was the main brain behind the Cars, and a great pop songwriter. So, do we think Rivers, left to his own devices with those 700 basement tracks, would have put out quite a creative and perfect album? Some probably not. It usually takes somebody else saying, here, you're getting a little self indulgent at this point. I think you're not building up this character as much as you need to for them to come in the third act. Somebody like Daniel would have been very useful when they wrote Captain Marvel to say, hey, in the broad scheme of the overall MCU, this is probably not the character to use, because she could use a few more movies worth of development to make her this powerful within the scope of things.
And to get people engaged in the character. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that I get commented on the most when I work with people after part of the process that I have, because I have a very high turnover rate. I try to get a project done within 4 to 5 weeks. So I really dig deep into what you're working on a developmental level, not just a proofreading and general editing level. So I'll leave notes and comments, and it's all advice. You choose what you want to use. You throw away what you think I'm full of crap about, no harm, no foul. But I also give one free coaching session in an hour call where we just talk about the project. And every time at the end, every client I've worked with is like, this has probably been the greatest hour I've had in a long time. All the things that we've discussed. I had one guy literally say, hold on, let me get my notebook. That was really funny.
My favorite was when they ask, where can I pay you?
Yeah.
That's the best one for me.
Yep.